and welcome back to the Witch's Cauldron. My name's Paula. Today's video is the next in Wicca 201, and this is on candle magic. And candle magic is one of the easiest ways when you are a new practitioner to really start to hone and strengthen your spells and your skills as, you know, a witch or magical practitioner, whichever one. Some people really object to the term witch. I embrace it with, you know, wholehearted, you know, both arms. So candle magic is a form of what is called low magic. Now that doesn't mean low magic as in it's ineffective. It just means that there's not a lot of pomp and circumstance attached to it. There are certain things that you do want to do, but you can do, you know, magic on the fly without any props. I often say that our spells are basically prayers with props, okay? It is no different than that. So think about it in that context that, you know, you don't need a lot of stuff to make your magic effective. It's all about the intent, your relationship with that object, or your desire for that intent, raising the energy, focusing it, and then letting it out to the universe. High magic is highly ritualized ceremonial magic that you would find like in Gardnerian traditions, Alexandrian traditions, Dianic traditions, that sort of thing, where there are a lot of steps to go through, a lot of, like I said, props and pomp and circumstance. So that's high magic, okay? But low magic, that's where I stay most of the time, is, you know, down and dirty, in the trenches, gut-wrenching magic, okay? And that's just where I'm comfortable, you know? I'm not into all the poo-foo and foo-foo and stuff like that. I'm just not into it. And that's me and my spiritual path. That's not saying it's wrong. It's not saying it's right. It's just my personal spiritual path. So let's stop and think about a minute about candles and the various types, okay? You have to think about man's relationship with fire. And I mean man as in the human species, okay? Not just of the male persuasion, okay? So fire was a necessity of life for early, you know, man, okay? Cook, heat your, you know, keep your family from freezing, that kind of things. It was a very primal relationship with fire that we have lost a lot today. You know, most people have electric heat pumps. They have electric stoves. They, you know, have electric fireplaces. So, you know, we don't have that same primal thinking of life and death and relationship with fire that we did, you know, 150 years ago even, okay? So let's go a little bit about what the candle actually symbolizes, okay? The base of your candle, and I'll just bring one of mine up here. The base of the candle represents the earth element, okay? And as does the wick, okay? The wick and the base keep the candle grounded, and the wick allows it to continue to burn and sustain the flame, okay? Now, the wax, you can think, you know, it starts out here as a solid, and then it actually goes to a liquid and then to gas, okay, from the smokes coming up, okay? And this is representative of the shape-shifting element of water because it's transformative, okay? It transformed through, you know, the process of something called pyrolysis that makes matter change from one form to another, okay? Now, you can also think of the air element is the oxygen around the candle and the flame. You have to have oxygen in order for the flame to be sustained and to burn, okay? That's part of what's called the fire quadrangle, because you need a couple of things. You need fuel, you need heat, you need oxygen, and you need a sustained chain reaction. So that's known as the fire quadrangle. And yes, I am going back to my 31-year career in the fire department, and I'm kind of like injecting a little bit of that in here. But you kind of need to understand the process of, you know, combustion and pyrolysis to really see how each part of that is representative of one of the elements. Okay, so the air is the oxygen keeping the flame alive, okay? Fire is in and of itself the actual flame, okay? That's the heat that is required to sustain that combustion. Now, spirit is represented by you charging and consecrating the candle with the intent. Okay, so that connects you and this candle to Akasha, or the element of spirit. Okay, so there you can see how all 5 elements are represented in this one candle. Okay, then you kind of stop and think, okay, my intent as the candle burns, you have heat that rises, you often have smoke that rise, depend on you know, if you've added any kind of oils, any herbs, anything like that, and the type of wax that you use. Okay, you can see that little bit of heat and smoke come up off and that also helps release the energy that you put into that candle out to the universe. Okay, so let's dive into color, because that is some of the most important thing that you need to take into consideration when working candle magic. And it's the next layer. Okay, we've gone over timing and moon phases, we've gone over astrological and zodiac correspondences. Now we are layering the next layer, which is color. So let's start running through a bunch of colors. Okay, the first one, you know, I'll do here is red. Okay, this is a little spell candle, and red is for the qualities of red. They invoke passion, courage, strength, and really intense emotions. And when I'm talking passion, I'm talking drive to do something, your passion for something, and also physical passion, physical, you know, delight. All right. It's also used in magic for love, physical energy, health, and willpower. Okay. So let's move next into orange. Its qualities are energy, attraction, vitality, and stimulation. And magical correspondences for it relate to being able to cope, adaptability to sudden changes, power, raw power, and encouragement. Yellow, that is intellect, inspiration, imagination, and knowledge. And in magic, it's used for communication, improving confidence, your self-confidence, and is often used in divination because you're seeking something, knowledge from an intuitive or other realm. Okay, divination. Green, you think about you know, green trees and grass and everything, and that's it. It's abundance, it's growth, it's renewal, it's balance, but it's also about wealth. Okay, in America, our money is basically green, and so it's about wealth. You can use green in magic, in candle magic, for prosperity, employment, getting another job, because that helps sustain your hearth and home, fertility, health issues, and general luck. Okay, and I mean health, like health and healing a health issue. Blue. Blue is one of those that is one of the real calming ones for me. And it's about peace, inner peace, truth, wisdom, but it's also protective. And I'll get into that in just a second. And it encourages patience. In magic, a lot of the spells that you use blue candles for are healing, psychic ability, harmony in the home, and understanding. Now, blue and psychic ability, it not only helps you grow your psychic ability, but it protects those of us who are psychics and mediums from the influx of negative forces. Okay, it helps us protect. So most people, you know, will do like a white light of protection. Mine is a blue-white light of protection when I'm imagining putting my armor on every day, as I call it. So then we get into violet. Violet is about spirituality, devotion, wisdom, idealism, peace. So it's very effective, and I usually use violet candles when I'm doing divination. That's just my personal bonding with that color. It's easier for me to do divination with a violet candle than it is, say, using a yellow candle. And it's about nurturing qualities and developing your nurturing qualities, and also balancing and sensitivity. So white is like your all-purpose kind of color, okay? Because white is devoid of color. So you can use white candles for just about anything in a pinch. If you don't have any colored candles and all you've got is, you know, one or two white candles or white tea lights, something like that, by golly, you can use them and set them with whatever intent that you want. When you typically think of white, it's about peace and innocence, shedding the light on things, literally, and purity. So you can use white candles for cleansing, bringing order to a chaotic situation, developing growth and understanding, and gaining clarity. But like I said, in a pinch, you can use a white candle for anything because it's devoid of color. You set the color, you set the intent with a white candle. Black. You think about black, it blocks things out, right? It's about dignity, force, protection, and stability. I use black candles a lot, and balancing, releasing negative energy. It's about transformation and enlightenment, and it's releasing. It's also protecting from outside negative influence like hexes and curses and things of that nature. But it's a great protective candle. Now, silver. Silver candles I keep on my altar to represent the goddess. Okay, I have that as my representation. But silver is also, you think about some of the qualities affiliated with goddess, and it's wisdom, it's women's mysteries, it's psychic ability, it's intuition, it's intelligence, it's memory. Okay, so silver you can also use in your spiritual development to help you embrace that more feminine deity energy. Psychic development, it's a great candle to use for meditation if you're having problems meditating and calming the mind. It's also a great candle for warding off negativity. Now, gold. Gold is usually affiliated with the god, and I use a gold candle to represent the god on my altar. But you think about some of those masculine traits, okay? Strength, self-realization, understanding, okay? Success, health, your finances, ambition, fortune. It can also be used as a tool with divination also. Now, brown. Brown is, when we think of, earth, we think of the green right off the bat. But brown is equally strong for bonding with that earth energy. And you think about what earth energies are. It's about grounding, solidity, strength, and endurance, okay? So brown is also about your companion animals, material gains. It also helps you like to focus and concentrate. And it's also about balance. Gray. Gray candles are there. Gray is a mix between white and black, right? So it's about stability, contemplation, neutrality, that, it's not black, it's not white, it's here in the middle. It's Switzerland, okay? It's neutral. So it's also about working through complex issues and decisions, binding negative influences. Especially, it's especially effective for folks who have like an addiction, a substance addiction. It helps you to bind yourself from that negative behavior or that negative influence, okay? Keeping you away from that negative influence. Gray is also, when I say, it's not white, it's not black, it's in the middle. It's also about reaching compromise with someone on an issue. Now, indigo is that, it's not blue, it's not purple, it's in between there, and I call it a blurple, but that's indigo, okay? It is about emotion and insight, being expressive. So it also helps you to meditate, to gain clarity. It's about spiritual healing and mastering yourself, self-mastery, okay? Then you have pink. And a lot of people think of, red as the only color with, the affiliation of love. But pink is also one. It's the romance color. That is that deeper, abiding love that a couple that's been together for a long time have for one another. It's not just, how can I put it without being too crass? It's not just about the sexual side of a loving relationship. It's also about friendship, companionship, and healing your spirit. Pink is the color that you learn to also love yourself, to be able to open yourself up so you can be loved by someone else. It's also about children's magic, okay? So those are the colors, okay? You've thought about your intent. You've selected a color, okay? I'm going to bring this red candle back out, okay? You think about what kind of candle that you want to use, okay? Do you want to just use a tea light in a little votive holder? This is my elemental representation of fire that's on my altar. You can use a candle like this. You can use one that is like between a votive size and a pillar size. This happens to be my Litha candle. These are made in my High Priestess's shop. If you want to check her out, it's 13magicalmoons.com. I will link her website down in the description box. But she makes some of the best, most powerful candles anywhere around. And when I'm being lazy, she's the lady that I go to. This is a litha candle. I also do make some of my own candles, and this is a pillar candle that I make as my general altar candle to set my sacred space. You've got little small chime candles like this, okay? These are really inexpensive. They're easy to get. You can get them from Amazon. You can also get these little teeny tiny candle holders so they stay upright. There you go. So you select the kind of candle. You know, do you just need a quick candle? If you want one that wants to burn out, that you're doing in a spell, you're probably going to want one that's shorter burning, like a tea light or a chime candle. A chime candle takes, I don't know, I've had them take anywhere from like about an hour and a half to almost 3 hours to burn completely down. And if you're wanting to, you know, set something like an altar candle, you want one that you don't want to have to replace every day, okay? You use your altar candle every day when you spend time with your altar and bonding with it. So this is, you know, my litha candle. I wanted something that was a little bit bigger than, you know, a votive, that will last the length of a little bit longer ritual, things of that nature. It's all what you want to use. The same thing like with your representation. If you use a candle for God and Goddess, I have pillar candles for that, that I use because I don't want to, you know, I want to have it charged in there and spend time with the God and Goddess on my altar every day. So you have to be very purposeful. Hello. This is Rocky. He's my buddy. He's one of my buddies. But he likes to photobomb the videos, if you haven't figured that out by now. So Rocky's saying hello, everyone. So you figured out the type of candle that you want, the color of the candle that you want, what the purpose of the candle is, okay? Then you set the intent, okay? You can do that a couple of different ways. You just sit with the candle in your hands and you charge it with what the intent is for your spell. Whether it's, you know, for a ritual and the energies you want to draw on for midsummer or litha, or whether it's, you know, one for love, health, something like that, a red candle. It's all on you and what you feel comfortable with. My consecration is very, very simple, okay? And it usually involves me sitting here and putting that energy into it, okay? You can also anoint the candle with herbs and oils, okay? When you're holding the candle here, if you go from base out to the tip, that is sending stuff away. That is banishing. If you anoint from the tip down toward the base, that's bringing stuff to you. Okay? You choose an oil and herbs. You can anoint with an oil and then roll it in a combination of herbs. Now that will make a little candle flare up. Okay? So be very careful. I never leave my candles burning unattended, period, end of statement. That's just too many years in the fire department for me, seeing candle fires devastate families, to ever leave one of these little guys burning unattended, okay? You can also take like a little, you know, knife, or they actually have little Scribe, metal scribing pens, and you scribe the intent into the side of the candle. You write it into the candle wax. You can you know, do sigils and make up your own sigil, and use the scribe to scribe it into the side of the candle. It's all on the intent and what you want to accomplish, okay? One of the most effective spells that I learned from Dorothy Morrison, and this was what she called the swifting of energy spell, okay? You need a yellow candle, a white candle, a black candle, and some salt. And it's trying to get the bad energy away from you and bringing the good energy in. That's a very effective way to do candle magic. If you want to bring, let's say, love to you, okay? You have a candle that represents you. You can pick whatever color. I usually use an orange one because I'm a Leo, and that is the color that's associated with Leo. You can have, you know, this candle represent, you know, your one true love or whatever. And I hate love spells, by the way, folks. I'm just kind of throwing this out here because this is what a lot of people want. You start the candles out apart, and as your spell progresses, you bring them in together. You know, your significator candle. Let me just pull one of these out. This is a yellow one. You move them in closer together as your spell progresses, and you focus on that. And then you let them sit there and burn completely out and have the waxes meld together. That symbolizes the coming together of the relationship. And I'm going to throw out there, don't ever do a relationship spell with a particular person in mind, because that's got all kinds of bad juju on it. You don't want to affect someone else's free will. You don't want the karmic kickback from that. So that's how you can do candle magic. Okay, now I'm going to go into my little safety thing. Always have something that is heat proof and fireproof underneath your candles. I have something like a dish that goes underneath my cauldron, and underneath my cauldron and anything that has fire on it, I've got a big glass overlay on my altar that anything that gets hot or anything that involves dripping wax, anything like that, gets placed on this piece of glass so that it doesn't affect the altar cloth, the tablecloth underneath it, and more importantly, does not affect the 120-year-old table that belonged to my grandmother that I use for my altar table, okay? Because it would devastate me if something happened to that table because it got too hot. So once you do that, think about your spell. Think about the intent. Think about things that you can inscribe into the candle. Okay? Conversely, to get things to go away from you, like that bad habit, have a white candle for you, a black candle for the bad habit. Write whatever that habit is on the black candle. Write your name on the white candle. And as the candle spell progresses, you move them apart. Okay? Until finally, let's say you've got it inside a circle of salt. You move aside the salt where you are, move yourself outside the circle, and then close the circle back, the circle of salt back. Leave your bad habit bound inside the circle of salt and let it burn all the way down, okay? But keep everything fireproof, keep everything contained in something. If you have like a progressive spell candle where it has to burn for several hours, several days in a row, put it somewhere like inside a sink that won't catch on fire, everything like that. But I really highly recommend never ever leaving a candle burning unattended, because that can have devastating consequences. So once you've performed your spell, and the candles have burned down. You have this blob of wax there inside of a, you know, a plate or on a cookie sheet or something like that. Now you need to do something with the remnants of your spell, okay? So this is also where another consideration for intent goes, okay? If you did a spell to bring something to you, like bring better health to you, or to bring better energy into your home, you have to dispose of the remnants of your spell in a particular manner, okay? You want to take it all, put it in, you know, I use a lot of like little organza bags or little muslin bags that I have laying around. Put everything in that, and if it's something that you want brought to you, brought to your home, you can bury it like in your backyard, by your front door, you know, something like that, something close to home. But if you're wanting to get rid of something, you don't want to bury stuff that you want to get rid of on your own property. Take that little bag of stuff and go and bury it away from your home. Get it, you know, boom, make it go away somewhere. I have even disposed of like the ashes from, you know, ritual or spell work, especially where it involves emotional healing. I don't put candle wax this way, but I do like the herbs that were burned like as part of an incense thing, kind of like that. I have taken it down to a creek and let water wash away the emotion, kind of thing, to help heal that emotion. So think of the ways that you can, you know, get rid of stuff. If you are in an urban environment, you can't easily bury things. You know, you can do the old burial at sea and flush ash down the toilet. You don't want to put solids like wax or anything like that down your toilet. Or you can, you know, take it down to your building's garbage room or whatever, and usually or, you know, if there's more than one building in your complex, take it to the next building over and put it in their trash thing. But, you know, within a couple of days, the trash will be picked up and taken away, and it's, you know, disposed of that way, either through incineration or, you know, a landfill, something like that. So that's what you want. You don't want to keep the remnants, you know, on your altar for a long period of time. You want to dispose of them in a proper manner. Like I said, if you want to have it brought to you, keep it close, keep it, you know, homebound, and then if it's something you want to get rid of, then, you know, bury it far away. So just keep that in mind. With that, my friends, that is it for basic candle magic. If you have the book from Lisa Chamberlain, she does have some basic candle spells in there. I encourage you, part of the homework is to write your own and perform your own prosperity spell. We all can use a little bit more money in our pocket. So do something like that. And then if you do it, let me know in the comments how it came out and what you ended up doing. Okay? So with that, my friends, merry we did meet, merry we will part, until we merry meet again. Be well and walk in love and light, everybody. Bye.